Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
10 most incredible things found in abandoned mansions. There's something uniquely eerie about abandoned places, especially abandoned homes, but you know what takes the crown? Deserted mansions with treasures in them. From time to time, people just randomly find boatloads of cash, literally in abandoned buildings. Other times, they're just taking a hike and they come across things like gold coins or priceless artworks. Sometimes they aren't even searching for priceless loot. It's just a matter of the right place at the right time. Luck favors the adventurous, it seems. From corpses to untriggered warheads to other sorts of strange and crazy significant things. This compilation will show you some of the craziest things people have found in abandoned mansions. Number 10. A ring with Charlotte Bronte's hair in an attic. Picture this. You're cleaning out your father-in-law's attic after he's passed away because that's a thing you would totally do. You find an old mysterious box that contains a ring. Unknown to you, of course, is the fact that the strange name engraved on it is that of renowned Victorian author Charlotte Bronte, as well as her date of demise. To add to this already bizarre discovery, there's an intricately braided piece of her hair. This isn't the opening scene for a horror movie. This discovery was made by a young woman who had the wisdom to take it to a jewelry appraiser, Jeffrey Munn, who said he had no reason to doubt the ring's authenticity. Without Bronte's classic touch, the ring would cost approximately £25. However, Munn put it up for about £26,000. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. Number 9. A classic painting forgotten in an apartment. After her untimely demise, a 91-year-old woman's family discovered an apartment in France that she previously owned but had abandoned before World War II. The apartment was chock full of rare oddities. Among them was an original Giovanni Boldini painting, which went on to sell at auction for an astounding $2.5 million. The painting, a depiction of the once resident of the apartment, Marthe de Florian, was a one-of-a-kind that even came with a handwritten note from the artist himself confirming its authenticity. At her prime, Madame de Florian was a flamboyant French socialite and actress who fled to the south of France during World War II. She lived in an apartment near the Opéra Garnier in Paris, and this is where she kept her loot just in case she even planned to return. Something that never ended up happening. What was even stranger was the fact that the apartment remained untampered with till its discovery, untouched since 1939. Well, till an auctioneer recently entered her apartment. What he found was a time capsule full of treasures. Number 8. Rare coins hidden in a wall. It's not exactly news when people on the internet come across rare coins. What's less of a surprise is that most of them are fakes. Such wasn't the case for one of the biggest finds that was in an abandoned Pennsylvania house. How they ended up there in the first place is a comical tale of its own. An older woman, who had lived in the house as a child, tells the story of coins being tossed into a small hole in the wall. With the help of a local collector, she discovered a trove of coins, some close to 200 years old. The collector said he expected the coins to sell for at least $200,000. Well, that's one way to accrue interest on your money. Number 7. Superman in the Wall. First things first, growing up is overrated. That we can all collectively agree on. With that in mind, if you ever find yourself looking through old comic books, you could be sitting on a literal gold mine. More so if one of them is the super rare Action Comics #1. What exactly makes this bunch of stitched together paper priceless is that it's the first time Superman makes an appearance, and as such, makes it a sought-after collector's item and guarantees a huge payday. A contractor in Minnesota learned this firsthand when he found the comic tragically being used as wall insulation in an abandoned house he'd purchased. Definitely a gift that kept on giving. The comic book, which was in extremely poor condition, surprisingly still sold at auction for $175,000. I bet at this point you're wishing you would have been one of those lucky adventurers. When was the last time you poked around in your basement or attic? What you could find will apparently either horrify you or set you up for life. Number 6. Ancient Mayan artifacts in an apartment. This is literally a story of one man's trash being another man's treasure. A junk removal specialist, an old abandoned apartment, artifacts from several lifetimes ago, and a cleaning job that changed his life beyond his wildest dreams. Sounds like a movie, right? Wrong. While cleaning out an old apartment, this lucky man stumbled upon an old barrel that contained several ancient Mayan artifacts dating back roughly 1500 to 2300 years. In its entirety, the discovery was valued at roughly $16,500. Quite the find for something that would have been made out to just be junk. Number 5. Rolls of cash left in a house. While this may not be the biggest find on this list, it's definitely worth a mention. While exploring an abandoned home near where he lived, Dave of Phreatography discovered a small fortune that could have possibly changed his life, or at least paid his bills for a few months. It was only while he was walking around photographing the kitchen and the adjacent bathroom that he found a strange, seemingly out-of-place yellow bag neatly hidden away behind the bed, and what he saw inside was both exhilarating and scary. Hordes of cash totaling up to $6,800 rolled up neatly and dated inside an old bag. Seeing that the house had been abandoned for nearly 30 years at this point, the man could have easily made off with the cash. Instead, he did perhaps the last thing any of us would do. He tracked down the rightful owners of the house and returned it all. And I mean every last cent. Talk about being your brother's keeper. It so happened that the owners were a young woman whose grandparents originally owned the house and her husband. They say never to mess with karma, and this explorer took that to heart. Despite this discovery literally being what every adventurer dreams of, the treasure at the end of the figurative rainbow, this explorer chose to go against his basic instinct and do the right thing. I'd say they owed him a finder's fee. Number 4. Designer clothes, a loaded dishwasher, and an unfinished game of chess. In this truly bizarre edition of mysteries, a grand home was found by an urban explorer. He shared pictures on the condition that his identity wasn't revealed. I would too if the bizarreness of this whole thing is anything to go by. The explorer recounts what he saw there, saying that there was a utility room with a snooker table and outside, cars, which shockingly includes a rusted Bentley lying in the overgrown grass. He speculated that the former occupants appear to have left with great haste, as the huge home remains eerily preserved. Even scarier is the fact that there was dry cleaning still in the plastic wrapping. It appears they didn't even pack a bag. It was literally like the people who lived there got up in the middle of the night and ran without taking anything, the explorer recounts. Number 3. BAILLON'S Museum Dream. If you're an antique car enthusiast, this is bound to excite you and still break your heart. You discover you have an inheritance, one that includes assets left at a mansion owned by your late grandfather. You get there and find a collection of beat-down but exotic cars. Their poor condition aside, you're told these 60 classic cars are rare and restorable and worth a whopping $15 million at auction. Well, this happened to 2 Frenchmen recently. It begins with 1950s entrepreneur Roger BAILLON, the grandfather of the 2 surprised Frenchmen who had a love of fine cars. BAILLON had a dream to preserve the finest pre-war automobiles for display in a museum, and by the late 1960s, he'd amassed a collection of 200 cars. His collection included names like Bugatti, Hispano-Suiza, Talbot Lago, Panhard Levasseur, Delahaye, and Delage, along with achingly beautiful coach-built one-offs and even more modern vehicles from Ferrari, Maserati, and Porsche. While at least 50 of his 200 or so beloved motors were sold when he fell on bad financial times, the rest were consigned for decades to specifically build shelters and shacks around the family home in France. True dedication to his dream. To prove to you just how rare his collection was, he has just one of 3 Maseratis in the entire world. And with that, it's now time for today's best pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber. So if you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it on our future video. Number 2, lucky YouTuber? How often do you happen upon an abandoned Spanish mansion in the middle of nowhere in seemingly pristine condition? Not often, I'd imagine. Well, this was the case for a YouTuber who stumbled onto a Spanish mansion and even found the keys to access the property. That's a lot of luck if you ask me. Inside the mansion, he found a red sports car in great condition that without a doubt would cost a small fortune. Fortunately or unfortunately, he refuses to share the exact location of the mansion, making it unlikely that you'll see this red Spanish beauty in an auction anywhere anytime soon. Number 1, a safe in Pablo Escobar's mansion. A pink Miami mansion. Yes, it was actually pink, that once belonged to Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar. Again, yes, the guy from the Narcos series. It was purchased by fast food mogul Christian de Boudoir in 2016. Given the mansion's past owner, de Boudoir was buying the abandoned mansion not just for the ocean view, but also for the loot that might be inside. That's pretty sneaky. For us, this is the holy grail, said the home's owner, who started the chain chicken kitchen. This is real, it's still locked. It's very, very heavy, he added. Among other things, they found a safe inside the mansion. Escobar was infamous for hiding tremendous amounts of money pretty much everywhere, so there's likely something valuable inside. Speculation on what's inside attracted many to believe it could be precious stones or even gold. It was kept in a vault in order to finish a television documentary, so I guess it was a win-win for everyone. Interestingly, this is the second safe found during the demolition. Another, found bolted to the ground, was stolen when thieves snuck in with a jackhammer under the dark of night. Since we didn't find any sources on what was inside this mystical safe, do you have any idea what could be inside? Why don't you share your thoughts with us in the comments section down below?